Oh, hello, and welcome to another video. And in this video, I'm going to look at my Novitiates, which I've literally just finished painting today, and so I'm really pleased to do a showcase on them. So the Novitiates were a bit tricky to paint because they've got this kind of they've got a couple of colours going on, but it wasn't immediately clear what they were supposed to be colour-wise. It took me a while to figure out what paints I wanted to use to try and match in with the box art, which was my aim, as it often but not always is. And the tricky bits, I think, are the outer habits that are kind of this warmish brown colour, and the trousers, which cover their sort of thighs. It's really not clear. It's, I think, possibly supposed to be denim or some kind of utilitarian cloth, but it's not armour and it's not leather. So trying to make it look like it was definitely not armour or leather was a bit of a challenge. So for the outer habit, so that's the outside side of all of the sort of tabardy bits and the sleeve bits, right? It was an undercoat of Steel Legion drab, a wash of Reichland Flesh Shade just in the recesses, so I don't tend to do all over washes except on metallic, so it was a Reichland Flesh Shade wash in the recesses, then layered up with thinned down Talon sand, trying to leave some of that flesh shade showing in the recesses, and then an edge highlight of Karak stone. The inner habit was pretty standard, sort of bone-coloured cloth recipe. So Xandri dust, base coat, Agrax earth shade in the recesses, a layer of a Shabti bone, trying to avoid the recesses, and a edge highlight of Screaming Skull. The trousers, I undercoated them Mechanica Standard Grey. I gave them a shade, all over shade with Space Wolves Grey contrast paint, which is a very blue-grey kind of a Space Wolves colour. And then an edge highlight, and really there was just some tiny little sculpted wrinkles where the trousers are kind of tucked down behind the knee pads and into the boots. And I just picked out them wrinkles with rust grey, but very, very small, hardly noticeable on the model. Those are the three colours that really were different or challenging to work out. The others, I've put them on here for completeness, but it's really just a rehash of how I've painted my Sisters of Battle. So if you look at the other Sisters of Battle showcase video on the channel, which is these Battle Sisters, you'll see how I painted them. Painted it mostly the same way for consistency. So the silver metallic undercoat, lead belcher, Null Oil all over. Agrax Earthshade for the gun casing on the plasma pistol on the leader. Actually, it's not written there, but on the Novitiates, I did Black Templar's contrast paint on the gun casing. Because if you look at the box art, they have like these metallic black gun casings on their auto pistols. And then the whole thing there was a highlight with the Vallejo Model Air Chrome that I like. Brown leather was done in exactly the same way I always do it. So Rhinox hide, a sort of chunky highlight of Doombull brown, and then a kind of thin highlight of Scrag brown. Gold, my standard gold, so is this Pro Acryl rich gold that I like to use, then a Reichland Flesh wash over that, and then a highlight with the Pro Acryl bright gold, and then a sort of spot highlight, a corner highlight, a specular highlight, whatever you want to call it, with the Vallejo Model Air Chrome. The white, so in this case, both the icons on the shoulders and the headdresses, wimples. I'm not totally off on my non-terminology. I think it's probably a wimple, right? Grey Sear undercoat, Apothecary white contrast paint. You really do have to shake that Apothecary white contrast paint. I think I said it before, but I'll say it again because I have an old like electric mains powered back massager thing, and I always turn that on and put the contrast paint. Makes a lot of noise, but it does shake it up really well, so that's good. And then layer on Corax white, leaving some of the Apothecary white shade kind of showing in the recesses, and then an edge highlight of Pro Acryl Titanium white, or any pure white paint that you like to use will do fine for that. Black armour, again, my standard recipe for black armour, Abaddon black with a Dark Reaper highlight, and then up some top blue, and then a specular of Fenrisian grey. And the black leather, I should just point out actually, so the bits that I read as armour We've got the shoulder pads, obviously, that carry over from the Sisters of Battle miniatures, and they've got knee pads, and then a couple of them, you can just about see on a couple of them, they've got elbow pads, but the elbows are only really visible from certain angles because they've got those long sleeves as well. Whereas the leather areas, I kind of thought the corset, obviously, and the boots look leather to me. And what's really interesting as well is that the Sister Superior, who's painted much more like a standard Battle Sister, I'm not going over how I do all the reds and that on here, but go and check my Battle Sisters video if you really want to emulate that. But she seems to have like gaiters, like leather gaiters strapped on top of her power armor. So I did them in the black. I didn't want to pick them out in brown because I thought it would look really obvious and strange. So they are done in the black leather style over the power armor style. So for the black leather, it's the same as Abaddon black, but it's just highlighted with Skaven Blight Dinge and Storm Vermin fur. And then any other little bits of studs and things just picked out with that Vallejo Model Air chrome. That's everything I've put on there. Obviously there are some other little details that I haven't talked about in the text. My bases look slightly different because I couldn't remember how I do my bases, and I really like how they came out. The bases, it's Xandri Dust. No, that's a lie. It's a dark brown paint, I think dried bark probably, and then over the top of that, it's the Agrax Dunes, the deserty crackle medium. And then what I haven't done before that I did this time was then put a yellow wash over that, and it'll look awful. It looks really bright, lurid yellow. And then quite a heavy dry brush then of a Shabty Bone on top of that, and it's made them look really deserty. So they are based differently. I prefer it. Hopefully they're not so different from my rest of my Sisters of Battle. They'll look really weird with the rest of my army. You know, it's the same texture paint across all. It's largely the same basing style. It's just that I've used a slightly different wash and a dry brush to what I usually use. Because they're a kill team and because I'm going to take them to events and things, I did go through my basing material kind of box and try and pick things out to put them on various bases. Some of them have got little elements from really old basing kits that Games Workshop used to sell. There's some skulls from the Skulls pack. There's some bits of stone from various basing kits and the ground and other bits and pieces. So I tried to put a bit of interest onto a lot of the bases as well. And yeah, it was a real pleasure to paint them. It has taken me an exceptionally long time, as you've seen if you've been following the channel, how many games I've played with them in a various state of half-paintedness. I have had to come to terms with the fact that just compared to the rest of the universe, I seem to be a slow painter. It seems to take me a long time to paint stuff compared to everybody else in the world. I don't know why that is, but I am happy with the result. So I hope you enjoyed looking at those. So I have got a second set of these on my table now, ready to go. Whether I do those next or whether I just dip in to do something else, I'm not sure. I want to get them put together at least because I intend to do a little video just letting you know how my conversion, you know, because as discussed when I did the kit review, you need to use the flamer arms on a separate body if you want to build absolutely all the different variants, even with two kits. That is, I should be clear, if you want to build the banner that's only of use in 40k, and you want to build the relic bearer, and you really for kill team want to build the relic bearer, and you want to have the second flamethrower, those are all on the same body. So we're going to see how well those flamethrower arms go on a different body. I'll make a little video about that. I also want to make a little video about the Tamiya thin cement to see if I like it or not, and I'll let you know what I think of that. That's possibly coming maybe next, maybe there'll be something else coming next, not quite sure. The schedule's going to be a little bit hit and miss. Obviously we're coming up to Christmas, sort of 3 weeks away. I am, as I've said 100 times, I'm a teacher, so I've got lots of exams to mark. I'm already thinking the next weekend's probably going to be taken up by marking mock exam papers and things like that, which can't be helped. And I know I didn't get a video up yesterday either. It's just I was hoping to get these painted, then I didn't get them painted in time, and then I was getting tired and I got hacked off, and I'm a great believer in not forcing hobby, which is possibly why I paint quite slowly. But once it stops being fun, I'll go and do something else, go and play some video games or something like that, because it should be a hobby and not a job. So that's really where we are with that. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do like and comment and subscribe and all that stuff. And yeah, don't know whether the next one will be a tactical analysis or battle report or who knows what it'll be. But I'm looking forward to it and hope you are too. Have a great rest of your day.